What is up, guys? Dzeeff here, and on Christmas Eve I received an interesting mystery package, and in today's video I wanted to talk about all the research that I did to figure out what the heck it was and how it even got to me in the first place. Basically, I'm on this website now, which I wasn't aware because there was no link, but I got this letter in the mail, and it says Flesh and Blood, which, as you can see from this website, that's what it is. And I had no idea like what it was at all. I didn't give my address to anyone or anything. Obviously, I've worked with companies in the past, but I'd never talked to these people before, so I was kind of wondering how they got my address, as well as the fact that they are from New Zealand, which to some of you might mean something, and you'll see in a second your thoughts might be proven here. But to a lot of you, including me, I was like, that doesn't really mean anything. That seems just, if anything, it just seems weirder that it's coming from New Zealand and not like the United States. So the first thing that they had in here, besides that little letter, they had this full-size mat. And it's like, once again, I didn't know what any of this was, and at first I thought it was like a Yu-Gi-Oh product, but I mean, Konami's never gonna acknowledge me, so I guess it's not a Yu-Gi-Oh product. But I was like, okay, because it looked like Yu-Gi-Oh Zone for a second, but then you can see, I mean, it's not. And one of the interesting things here that you'll see when we open the thing, because we haven't really known, I've done a lot of research on this, and I don't think we know a lot of the cards yet. But you can see on this side, it has like head, chest, arms, and legs, and we actually got a head card, which is kind of cool. But I guess it's like a night game or something. I'm not entirely sure. Like I said, it hasn't been really leaked too much on the website. I've just talked a lot about conceptual stuff. So I got that mat, and I was like, well, it's not a Yu-Gi-Oh mat, and also I've never heard of Flesh and Blood TCG. Is that like an expansion to Magic or something? And I don't think it is, but I opened this this envelope thing, and I'll put an image up on the screen for you guys to read. But basically, it has like all this stuff. It has its own card, and it said "Dear Doug," and that's like handwritten. Which was like, once again, I was like, well, how did they know it was me? I'm not sure, but it said, "Dear Doug, you've passed the first test, aspiring TCG champion. Your commitment, high IQ, and bravery to sign up to random mailing lists has earned you our respect and an iron wrought equipment that breaks on first use," which we'll get to in a second. And also, when I read that, I was like, well, I didn't sign up to any random mailing list, but it makes a little bit more sense when we figure this out. I did some detective work, Detective Dzeeff here. So it said, 2019, the TCG industry will change forever. 20 years dreaming, 6 years planning, 4 years testing, 2 years drawing, one new classic trading card game. And the whole classic might not mean anything right now, but as we kind of go through here, you'll see that they really hone in on that idea of a classic TCG. It said, "Worse already are you, wishing you a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year from our team, wishing you a fabulous festive season." And they signed it. And then the card that they included, which you can't see at all in this picture, but I'll put a picture up there, is called Iron Wrought Helm, and it says, so it looks like all it does is give you one defense. Now, I don't know anything about these cards, but it gives one defense, and then it says, if you defend with Iron Wrought Helm, destroy it when the combat chain closes. So it seems like it's just like a one-time deal, like Rush Recklessly type thing, but one defense doesn't, I can't imagine like that would be a lot, even if the stat numbers are pretty low. And then it said in really small print above it, here's an exclusive preview, one of the very few proofs we printed, which is kind of cool. And then at the bottom it says, "We wanted to thank you, but not too much." And I just realized that there's also, I just ruined the card. But besides the fact that I ruined the card, I ripped off the thing, and now it says Flesh and Blood, and then there's the website, which would have been helpful because I had to just like Google it, which is kind of confused. So it says 7th June 2019. So this is the card, which once again I'll put up on the screen so you guys can see it. And then I haven't actually taken this out. Yeah, so it is just like a proof. So it doesn't have anything on the back yet. Whoops. It doesn't have anything on the back yet, which is kind of interesting. So this is like probably one of their like testing cards. So this is cool. If this TCG blew up, this card would probably be a pretty cool collector's item. I mean, imagine having a collector or a proof of one of like the original Yu-Gi-Oh cards or the original Magic cards. So that was everything that was in here, and now we've kind of talked about that. And I was like, what the heck does any of this mean? But then I did some digging. So here's the website, Flesh and Blood TCG, and they've made some posts. You can see that the game, the lore, and the support isn't actually up there yet, which is, I mean, I guess that's coming eventually in June, closer to June. And then one of the things I noticed is that they made this post that said holiday wishes, and it says, "As the year comes to a close, everyone's getting ready to spend the day with family and friends and enjoy the festive season. Meanwhile, a pile of mysterious gifts collects in the corner of the office." And you can see here they're actually making the card that I received. That is the exact card that I received. And then on this picture, you can see the mats and stuff, and that was the same package that I received. So once again, when I saw this, I was like, well, that's cool. It's not just some like random phishing scam or anything. It's like an actual company. It's an actual TCG TCG. Still don't know anything that's like going on here, but I saw this and it's like, okay, at least it's like a team of people that sent this to me. I still don't know how they got my address or anything, like, or even how they found me in the first place. And then I found this on the website, and it seems like what they mean by classic TCG is that they mean physical cards, because a lot of games nowadays are coming out, so many online TCGs, and it seems like they're like really trying to focus on having a physical TCG. And I think that this article, there's this one too about collectability, but I think the community article actually really stuck out to me, because I agree with this. My friend that quit Yu-Gi-Oh for like 2 months to play competitive Hearthstone and buy the best decks, one of the things that he said is that the thing you don't get from like Hearthstone and other online TCGs is you don't get that like going to events thing unless you're like a really good player. But from like a local game store sort of area, or even like a regional qualifier, you just don't get that with the online TCGs. And it's so, I don't know, I played in that Duel Links tournament and it was kind of weird, like sitting in front of my opponent just holding my phone up. TCGs, for better or for worse, are a very interactive sort of game, and I think that's what makes them so cool, and it seems like this company agrees as well. But I was still like, okay, I don't really know where they're coming from or why was I add to this. Obviously I am like a YouTuber, but I didn't really understand what was going on. So I posted about it on Twitter, and someone said, oh, this is made by Yu-Gi-Oh! Singles. And then it all fell into place. So if you don't know, Yu-Gi-Oh! Singles was one of the best websites for buying Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards. They were out of New Zealand, but the cool thing was that they never like fell into the hype prices. All of their cards, like, because if I always mention this, but you should never buy cards at the sneak peek or around sneak peek time, because the prices are just so inflated. Yu-Gi-Oh! Singles was one of the only sites that didn't do that. They also were really good for shipping, even from New Zealand. I've ordered tons of stuff from them, and I actually made like so the reason that they have my address in the first place, besides the fact that I've ordered stuff, I actually at one point a long time ago tried to work out a partnership with them, very similar to what House of Champs had, which he got like promotional items and things like that. I tried to work that out with them. It didn't work out. I had it was very early on in like my YouTubing career. I only had like 8K subs. I didn't really know how to like market myself, and it didn't work out, but it was still a good to like experience for me, because even when things don't work out, it's good to just try them out so that you're better for the next time. And then when I was able to work with companies like MetaMats and Dex Protection, I had a lot more like actually things come from that instead of just like a one-time deal. But it was still cool. I ordered a bunch of Fluffle cards from them for Fusion and Foresters, so that kind of gives you an idea, like 2017-ish. So this is from Yu-Gi-Oh! Singles, and when I went to their page, I saw they had this post that says, wants to see what we've been working on, it has been revealed. If you're one of the loyal fans who signed up at Slingshot Underground, which I'll talk about in a second here, then you're in for a treat. The Slingshot Underground promotion has ended, but we received a lot of confused messages from people who haven't received our email updates. Our final update included instructions to receive a Christmas gift from us, which is, I'm assuming, the thing that I got in the mail. And then it says, because we love you and we like to send you a cool gift, you can catch up on our store by visiting slingshotunderground.com or go to spam/promotions folder phishing to receive your free Christmas gifts. So I guess this was just a free thing that they gave out. Reply your email with all that kind of stuff, and then before the 9th of December. So I never saw this. And I think that this website is actually down. Yeah, I couldn't get on it earlier either, so I think they took that website down, it looks like. But I guess what happened after doing even more digging after this. So when Yu-Gi-Oh! Singles closed, they had like a thing that said, what's next for Yu-Gi-Oh! Singles? And all it says at the bottom is, be the first to find out what's coming at slingshotunderground.com. So I don't know what that was, because we can't open the website. Maybe it's like locked to like New Zealanders. I don't think so though, but it's some sort of website where you just put in your account information to get updates on what Yu-Gi-Oh! Singles is doing next. And what's interesting is that I didn't sign up for that at all, but they must have just thought that because I was some sort of YouTuber person that it was cool to send it to me. And it is. It was really cool to receive this item. A couple of people thought I was like ungrateful on Twitter. I was just surprised more than anything, because all this digging that I've done, like I didn't know any of this information. I mean, just imagine getting a package from another country, very far away from you, from a game you've never heard of, with your name handwritten on it, and it's just like, well, what the heck's going on? But once I did the digging, it all started to make sense. And shout out to the person on Twitter that said, oh, Yu-Gi-Oh! Singles is part of that. I think it's like Yu-Gi-Oh! Singles parent company, not actually the Yu-Gi-Oh! Singles people. Don't have full confirmation on that. But anyway, all of that, it leads to the fact that, yes, Flesh and Blood is a TCG coming out. No, I'm not sponsored by them. All I got was this thing in the mail. But that makes sense then, because when I was reading it, it said like signing up to random mailing lists, I was like, well, I didn't do that, but they just had my address from when I tried to work with them for Yu-Gi-Oh! Singles. So all of it started to make sense. All of it makes sense now. But this is a new TCG coming out in June. I don't know. We'll have to look into it a little bit more. I mean, it looks interesting. It seems like the day that I'm making this video, they uploaded something that talks about like different games and how they manage like resource systems, kind of not necessarily like dissing a lot of the resource systems, but basically like they were talking about how like Hearthstone and Magic and Pokemon, they all use like the, well, they don't specifically name them, but they're talking about how you have to like draw the mana cards or draw the lands, and that kind of creates some weird like situations where two players playing the same decks might like draw differently just because one doesn't draw the correct ratio of stuff. So they said that a lot of card games, which like Force of Will does that. I don't know if Card Fight, I don't really know anything about Card Fight Vanguard, but Force of Will did it where the mana was in a separate deck to the side, but then that creates issues where your deck is too consistent. So they said that their resource system will is based on starting full one deck and reducing variance, which is something that I think a lot of competitive players will like. So I don't know anything about this card game in terms of like the actual cards besides the helmet card that I got that I think is a bad card, but it'll be interesting to see. I don't know if I'll post more updates about this, but it's just a very weird situation that happened to me, a very cool situation that happened to me. But as I was sort of figuring things out, I just kept going, how am I connected to this? How did this happen? But now I understand it. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this mystery box. I don't even know, it's not a mystery power box, this mystery package opening analysis video. I don't know if any other YouTubers got this. I would imagine that like House of Champs would, because he was working with Yu-Gi-Oh! Singles for a long time. They were partners. I'm not entirely sure though. When I sent it to the group Yu-Gi-Tubing chat, everyone said that they hadn't heard of it, and then John said that like, oh, he hadn't gotten it yet, but he had heard of it. So that was kind of interesting. But I don't know if you'll see it on any other channels, but it's kind of a cool thing that I got, and I want to share it with you guys. Anyway though, I'll see you guys later. Thank you so much for watching this video. I know it's a little different from my normal styles, but it's just something I thought I had to share with you guys. And yeah, I'll see you later. Goodbye.